Last time on the Great Ace Attorney.
This is it now. It all comes down to this, although I feel as though I've said that several times before.
Oh my God, no!
Oh,
Who do I present evidence against? Grayson or Graydon?
All right, let's go. I'll go your route first.
Mr. Graydon, there is one final piece of evidence I would like you to see.
You misguided fool. Whatever you intend to show me now, you'll be wasting your time. I have nothing left to lose. I assure you, I will admit to nothing. Is that Mr. McGuilded's peculiar music box, Counsel?
Yes, with the disc already in place, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time.
No. I hate you. I hate you.
Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself now? I deny everything. Everything, do you hear me? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. That's not true. I could hide behind the stand here. You couldn't see me if I ducked down. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime, namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbrokery, and you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Windybank. Breakdown time.
Yep. Oh dear.
Traitor! Come here!
Oh dear.
It was only then that I found out what sort of a monster McGuilded really was. So after 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore on my father's name to exact revenge.
Oh, he set the fire then.
Oh.
Revenge?
If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in this city willing to do anything you ask.
Are you saying that?
I think you have the picture now.
Now, with regard to the murder of Pop Windybank, I hereby declare the defendant, Miss Gina Leestrade.
Don't you
But what does he declare her as? Because we've run out of time.
No.
What is the
Taylor.
verdict?
Not guilty.
Oh, that would have been a good cliffhanger.
Shut up, Taylor.
We've come this far, damn it. We're going to see it through to the end. Oh, yes, of
Fireworks.
course, the fireworks.
That's it, the fireworks. Whoa!
Whoa!
Gina!
Oh, Gina.
Should you really be doing that right now?
Hey!
He's a big one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Disillusion Plays The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, where we play the games and do the voices.
Yeah.
Before we hop on in, I'm Taylor.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Sarah.
All right. And just before we continue on, just as a reminder, if you do like our content, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell to receive notifications about when we post future content. And feel free to leave a comment as well, because we do like responding to them. It helps us out a lot.
Indeed you do.
And hopefully this time, we're actually going to finish this darn case.
I sure hope so.
All right then, team.
Do this.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
Bye-bye. Oh, they're brooding.
They're having a standoff.
Yes. So it's just you and me. On a personal note, I must say you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend.
It surprised me how shameless you are.
Can I
in
just-
stooping?
Can I just note, this is really important. He didn't say the word.
No, he didn't.
He said Far Eastern.
He didn't. He said Far Eastern.
Yes,
Oh.
this is important.
We can't have one last nippity.
No. No, there's been some very small personal growth. That's good.
Oh!
Despite there you go.
Oh, there it is.
There it
you
is.
go. He just,
No personal growth.
yeah, for 1 second there. For 1 second there, I let myself think that he wasn't going to be a prick. Like, despite being a
One last hurrah. Okay, how long before Pete turns blue?
You saw through the pretense to the malice that festered within that Englishman. And at the same time, saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures.
I'm not sure if you're complimenting me or not.
Like, thank you?
I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan,
Speak for yourself.
we're all human beings. We're all human beings.
That's
We're not so very different on the inside.
Taylor, that is spelt right.
No, I know. I sometimes like to say human being.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were like going, oh, the game's made a spelling mistake.
I'm like looking at him like, no, that's
Like,
no. written correctly.
Like,
I was
it's
like, what? I know we've had a few errors, but that's not one of them.
Do we think Van Zieks is going to make a racist comment?
Yeah, he's being too friendly at the minute. I'm suspicious of his words.
Well, we'll see if he throws the wine bottle at Ryunosuke's face.
Yeah.
Well, it's like with Pete, where it's like, we'll be having a companionable moment, and then he'll just be like, by the way, we're not friends. Lest you mistake my familiarity.
That's
for
not
affection."
true. You know that's not true. Don't go putting that sort of stuff out there.
Oh, Taylor, you broke his heart.
Pray, forgive the discourtesy for presuming that this brief moment is some kind of display of emotion. Anyway, I took this case for one very simple reason.
Because I hate you.
To lock swords with you once again, here in the courtroom.
You did?
When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, I found myself besotted. I couldn't contain this fire within.
Much like the fire on the omnibus, in fact.
Indeed.
A blaze.
It was
within seconds.
the only blaze to match in brightness. Or something, I don't know, to burn brightly, as brightly as my passion. Anyway,
I was enamored.
you can see the enamor on my face right now.
Yes, clearly.
I could almost smile. Just a little. It reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese. Only to find my trust betrayed. Through you, I hoped to look into the eyes of the man I once knew and try to understand.
Ryunosuke's like, why have the organs started again? I don't understand.
Who's played the organ? I thought we were here alone.
It's like, this the organ player's like, oh, for goodness sake, I hope they give me overtime.
You mentioned something similar earlier today about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly?
You'll have to find out in the sequel. Well, you may ask.
I just did.
I had saved a Terry's chocolate orange specifically for the evening, and when I returned home, nary a shred of the orange was left.
Oh no, and I've been there.
I'm just about to say, this sounds very familiar.
I am known to devour a chocolate orange.
He is a fiend, sir. A fiend.
And
I
when
know-
I confronted my erstwhile friend and asked if he had separated it into slices, he said no.
Yeah,
Ate it
devoured
whole
it
in
whole.
2
Oh,
bites.
no!
In fact, he allowed it to sit out in the sun on the windowsill so that it may harden into a solid
Oh,
ball,
no.
and then ate the entire thing.
That is sacrilege.
That being said,
Absolute
As you can
sacrilege.
imagine, on that day, I swore vengeance against him and the entire Nipponese empire.
I mean, I'm not quite that bad, but like, and I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong, but I just can't get enough. If someone puts a chocolate orange in front of me, I am going to eat the whole thing. Like, it's going to happen. I shouldn't, but
Pete, you've eaten like 20 chocolate oranges. Can't you stop?
no,
No.
no, I can't. More. It's my curse.
It's like the rabbit from Wreck-It Ralph. It just literally just.
Oh,
no.
no.
Anyway, and you know, if people actually want this episode to finish, and one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not.
But I'd want to know the answer, which is why I asked the question. All right, then I'll wait for that day, if I must.
It would be a shame if you were sent back to Japan now. Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey, and my retirement from service 5 years ago. It gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow, until we meet again. In the sequel.
Ow. My fingers.
Until we meet again, my learned British friend.
The typewriter. We've not heard you for some time.
We still have to stand here. I mean, the trial's done and dusted, right? I expect the missus will be a little bit peeved at me for not being home for Johnny's recital for the 5th time. I tried to tell her I did that I don't have a choice, but she don't listen. She just hit me with the rolling pin while I talk like this. It's done. It's over at last. Huzzah!
Hurrah!
I do like Huzzah.
Where's Iris disappeared to?
Quite one of my favorite celebratory
Oh.
words.
Oh. Ah! Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along.
He says out loud like that, like, yes, I definitely knew all along.
There was never a doubt in my mind.
I didn't falter once.
I knew that you were innocent.
One P.
Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruto.
Is you going to show any little hint of emotion, do we
No.
think?
You believed in me, right up to the end. You're as odd as your name.
What's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I?
No one ever has before, see? Kept a promise, I mean. Properly.
That's awful.
I figured something out today. All my life, growing up in the slums, I've never trusted no one. But that's because I've just been scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down.
Yes. I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know, though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently, too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of that valuable lesson.
Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a fat lot of sense to me, though.
I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure.
For crying out loud, pack it in!
I might accidentally get my face leaking again.
I suppose. Well, I sort of feel the same way.
Backer.
I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, all right.
Aw. Thanks.
Or flashback to what? Oh, Kazuma.
Oh shit.
My goodness.
This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself.
Oh, well, I'm stuffed then. I mean,
Jeez.
after this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma, am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be?
Don't be so hasty. Oop.
Pardon the interruption.
I don't know who this could be.
I imagine it's Shams.
Oh.
Oh, yes. It's but what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here?
Oh, what did you do with Svensson?
My dear fellow.
Ah!
I know that.
Someone have to turn around and me now.
Oh, not again, please.
It's
Is it
too...
right for the devil? I'm not really. Also, all this Charles infallible.
It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity.
But you were
When did your hair grow back? You didn't have it on...
Yes, it was me all along. Dio! I need to actually look up the source for that. I would have said when you finally noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling.
Okay. Mr. Sholmes?
You know, this is actually quite a serious offence you're committing right now in full view of an officer of the court.
You thought it was me. You thought I was a mere bailiff, but it was me, Sholmes, all along. You see?
Oh, that was a quick change.
Oh, quick wardrobe change.
I'd assumed you'd been taken back to the hospital, to be honest.
Indeed, I was, but I managed to escape again.
What, did they lock him in?
No. It's quite easy to just sort of assign a character into a scene.
His spleen is still on the table, but I suppose he doesn't need it, probably. Oh.
I happen to be aware of one or two foibles. One or two foibles of the doctor who was tending to me. I kind of fell over myself when I said one or two. I don't know why. One or two foibles. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence.
But you're in the hospital. You don't have to, you're not being committed to it. Why would you have to? Okay. How very above board.
But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts justly rewarded, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat at you.
Oh, thank you?
Some great detective you are. Great at being cold as ice, maybe.
Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade?
While you've been having a snooze in your little soft bed, some of us have been fighting for our lives.
Well, I didn't go to the hospital because I wanted a bed. It's not a hotel. Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps as cold as ice, but, well, have a feel.
Could you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes?
And, in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade.
What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted?
Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but... An acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little, precarious.
Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest.
Although I suppose we have put away Mr. Graydon, who started the fire in the first place, so perhaps it is all just... Perhaps everything will be fine now. Who knows?
Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Because anyone who's found not guilty in a trial he was working on winds up dead anyway. Is that it?
Oh, so you know the story. The very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGuilded, in fact. But of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself. I only have time for Ranst magazine.
Yeah, well, it don't bother me.
Oh, really?
Of course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's a bit like I'm.
Bit like
him upstairs. Sorry, I was just like, what?
Him upstairs? You mean like God?
You mean like God, yo? Faux shizzle?
Yeah, him upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. He won't have... For God's sake, I can't talk.
To be fair, the dialogue is somewhat, obtuse, so...
He won't have got the wrong end of the stick. There are some coves like that bog trotter what are rotten to the core. At the end of the day, him upstairs makes sure they get what they deserve.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another.
Well, I ain't like McGill... Oh, my lord!
It's okay, sir.
Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, no. She's getting sleepy. She is getting sleepy. Perhaps she should get back.
Very sleepy.
Perhaps
getting
she's...
grumpy.
Golden Robinson is slowly draining her energy.
Colin,
perhaps
get
go-
the
Hey, you guys, I actually found this really interesting book on the mating habits of
Colin Robinson,
penguins.
you stop it. Get out.
Oh, I see you're all quite busy in there. Well, I suppose that I shall
You know,
leave
I
you
actually
all to
heard just
your-
the other day about this new envelope adhesive that they're using.
Flo, would you
on-
tell the bloody Colin Robinson to get out of the house?
that
envelope adhesive.
and it's supposedly at least 3 times as strong as previous ones.
No.
you
It
know,
would be. It's at least 1.2 times as strong as the previous one. So I've heard that it actually has a 120% chance of opening while in transit through the United States Postal Service. And
they've actually introduced a couple of new flavors. There's the standard flavor, of course. There's oatmeal flavor, supposedly.
Oh my God, Colin Robinson, will you get out?
Stop draining us right now. Oh, I'm going to have to be gavelled, aren't I? Shit!
Yeah.
Oh, Laszlo.
Box.
And again. All of the girls.
Gavel.
Are we gonna?
Yes.
Are we gonna finish this episode
Yes,
or what?
yes.
Are you going to bally well finish?
Well, I ain't like the McGuilders of this world, so I ain't scared. I got principles, see?
Yeah, principles.
Who asked you?
Ow.
Keep your big chin out of it.
A trait in you which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade.
Oi! Just give it a rest, all right?
As I was saying, congratulations are in order.
Oh, shut up.
The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed.
Because if you hadn't, Iris would have been so depressed she would stop making me dinner.
Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina. By pulling out the world's
Congratulations.
smallest Stradivarius.
Well, There you are, Hurley! How long have you been here?
Oh my goodness me.
He's dead again.
Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there.
Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves.
What happened?
As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff.
Oh, how original.
But these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea.
All
Can
right,
you imagine?
So you
Iris?
whack him on the back of the head, and then drag him out, and then I'll defend you in court, and nobody will be any the wiser as to his murder.
Oh, can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it?
I'm not sure, really.
I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry, Hurley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. Oh, sick burns. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day.
Oh
dear.
I'm hurt. I'll
Destruction 100.
I'll be careful.
Ouch!
Anyway, it's such a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you? Don't look like I'm going to be going there. Don't look like I'm going to...
Gina, are you all right?
No.
You seem to be chewing on your scarf.
He's turning into angry Gina.
Don't look like I'm going to be going anywhere for a while. You hear the judge's patter. I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. For all them offences. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking a bog trotter's stuff, what was in the log, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offence.
But diving ain't an offence. It's a job, innit?
It's the same thing.
I don't think so.
Still, it has got me thinking all this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. I mean, you didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Odo?
Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket.
Well, anyway, I reckon I can make a change. I'm going to do something for all them not like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for them.
Oh, isn't that so inspiring, Ringo? Seeing a young lady stand up for people like us, it fair brings a tear to my eye.
Oh, Nash, I feel all funny in my chest. Is this
I
emotions
do too.
I'm
Hopefully
feeling?
it's not a heart attack.
I don't think so. I mean, do I look grey?
I don't know, I can't really see from up here.
Oh, that's just below the belt, that one, Nash.
What are those
Below
two
your
doing?
belt is subterranean, bruv.
Do any? What?
Oh, I ought to knock your blade block off.
I don't mean to interrupt, Iris, but what on earth are those two doing over there? They appear to be hiding behind some kind of column and nattering away to themselves.
Oh, don't mind them. That's just the Skulking brothers. They're just doing what they do best.
Skulking, yes. I
No,
see that.
Skulking, Hurley.
Skulking. Sorry. Yes.
That's a wonderful idea, Ginny. I'm sure you can do it. What is it?
Is it going to be like she's going to give them all up?
Aw.
Sorry. You're all so inspiring.
Nothing.
No one's ever said they believe in me before. I'm ruining the sad moments, sorry.
Hey, Gina Lestrade. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's right. Herlock's no longer good.
Yeah.
Miss Gina Lestrade, the prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at the thing. I'm just, the voice. The fact that it was indeed Sholmes the whole time. It's
Right.
just so bad.
Right. Well, looks like I'm off then.
Yes. Goodbye, Gina, and good luck.
Odo,
Yes?
Oh,
Oh,
whoa, oh, no!
okay.
What?
This animation,
Hold on!
that animation takes so long. Ah!
What was that for?
It's like, I know that it's not lethal, but the force of those things do hurt when they hit you.
At close range. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so...
I just thought I'd...
So you shot me?
Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade.
Eh?
Yes. On occasions such as this, one might say, arigatou gozaimasu. I would recommend a simple thank you.
Oh. Oh, yes! It's good advice. It's good advice, Ginny.
For once.
Right. I see. Well...
We'll have to go back and see if she's ever said thank you now.
I feel like she said thanks before, but I could be wrong.
Oh, she took her hat off. Oh my god.
Thanks, Odo.
Aww.
Oh, a smile.
Aww.
Thank you for everything what you've done. For believing in me. Oh.
I'm not crying,
Not at
you're
all.
crying.
In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina.
No.
I legit teared up a little bit because I'm an
Aw.
emotional sod.
It's nice to see her smile.
Yes, I think we may have found the thumbnail, if it's not considered a spoiler. It may
Not
be.
to interrupt this tearful exchange, but you really need to be getting off to prison now.
Come along, chop chop.
Well, there she goes. I wonder if I'll ever see her again.
Well. Quite the indomitable pig purse.
Oh, I nearly forgot. I bought a paper outside.
Oh, you didn't pilfer it for us? Oh.
It's a special edition, and this trial is all over the front page.
How on earth did they manage to write it so quickly, I wonder?
I know.
Those printing presses are quite the marvel.
Pickpocket's innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful?
You should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled.
Oh. Oh no! How silly of me. But anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Ugh, not again.
Well, what do you say, Runo? Hurley?
No, woe is me.
As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first.
Absolutely not. I have no intention of listening to anything but good news.
And there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it?
Let's not go there.
All right then. Maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record level of rainfall, apparently.
Yeah, well, climate change
That's how you
is
know
quite
this is a video game,
interesting,
because
isn't
the rain never stops.
Well, that is good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort.
All right then, what's the bad news?
A huge storm has left the seas very choppy.
Oh no, Susato.
Oh, Susato won't be able to go back.
Oh.
Oh. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more.
We can go see.
Wait, Dover?
That's right. If we head to the station immediately, we may still be in time to wave Susie off.
And then we just start running immediately. Cartoon Flintstones running sound.
But there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky.
Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo? Who the hell do you think I am?
Mr. Sholmes?
Well, yes. Yes, undoubtedly. I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express.
Oh.
If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner.
Dinner.
And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole.
I don't. The great detective does it again.
Well, I mean, indeed he does. But I don't like to boast. I happen to be aware of a number of rail transport detectives' foibles. Directors' foibles.
I see.
What?
I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary.
For example, did you know that in his spare time he enjoys being stepped on? I didn't either. At least not until I happened to witness it. Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way. Oh, but it's so effective, Mr. Naruto.
What are we waiting for then? To London, Victoria!
Choo choo.
My name's not Victoria, though. Like, we'll go to London, but I'm not Victoria. And
Go save the
I
Queen!
wish you'd
Go,
stop.
go
I
save
wish
the
you'd
Queen.
stop calling me Victoria. To be honest. Here we are. Oh, that took somewhat longer than I anticipated. Perhaps we've been downgraded to economy.
Susie's boat must be about to leave now.
Miss Susato, where are you?
Oh,
There she is.
if only we'd looked slightly to the left. But she's there.
Over there! Look! It looks like she's reading something.
We get to say goodbye to her.
Mm-hmm.
No!
Oh,
Hold it! Miss Susato, wait! What are you doing?
Mr. Naruhodo, what are you doing here?
We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see.
Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go?
It went well. She was acquitted.
Aw.
Oh, that's wonderful. Really wonderful news.
The book you were about to throw into the sea.
Oh no, I wasn't going to throw it away. I was just stretching.
It was your encyclopedia of British law, wasn't it?
Oh dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I am not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell.
You were saying goodbye to law? You? Susato-san?
Would I be correct in assuming it's because of the peephole? The peephole, Miss Susato?
I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable. That reminds me. How did you even come to have this, Susie? On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember.
And Gina had pilfered it, and then I pilfered it from her. And we were practicing pilfering from each other. Do you not remember?
Oh, yes, they were. Yeah. Oh, yes! We had a wonderful time.
Oh my god, if Susato stole that from them without them knowing, like, that, how big is that thing? Like, it's, like, jeez.
I mean,
wow.
she's got big sleeves. I mean, she's
I know,
just hide
but
it
like,
up there.
holy heck. I feel like you'd know if that was missing.
Well, Gina gave us a little intro.
Oh, call it.
Ah, there we go.
Jeez, wow. She's
Well-
like the best
Wow.
pickpocket of them all.
Yes. Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean. Oh, that was so much fun! I stole Bruno's armband.
Which also is quite impressive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, please don't do that again, Iris.
That band's very important to me.
Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't notice for ages.
On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cat flappomat. So I put it in my sleeve.
It's about, oh my goodness.
Really?
And then I rather forgot about it.
How? How do you manage to forget that?
Well, I mean, she does put. I guess she stores a lot of books up her sleeves, doesn't she?
You know,
Yeah.
my arm feels very sore for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like I have a bruise. Oh, that was where it was.
At least she didn't cut herself on like the super
No,
sharp like blades
jeez.
and whatnot.
Yeesh. And then I rather forgot about it until I found myself in Mr. Windybank's shop with it later that night.
I see. Kind of.
And then,
Oh, there they are.
bang!
Bang! I like the idea. They didn't shoot anything. They just said bang.
Bang!
That'll get him, Nick.
Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes!
Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo.
Right. I wasn't expecting you to do it quite that quickly. Couldn't you have at least stopped to say, "Oh, you're so concerned"? Okay, good.
After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think that the door started to play on my mind.
The storeroom door, you mean?
No, the other one.
Yes. If Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind the door. And at that moment, the little device I had put up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina. I simply had to know.
So you used the cat flap mat to make the peephole in the door.
As captured in a photographic print of the shop by one of Hurley's red-handed recorders.
Indeed. It was of the first importance, that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though, naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing.
That's when I looked through the hole in the door. The sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier.
The trial of Magnus McGuilded.
I thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windybank. Even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing.
You were worried that the two...
Oh no, it's
You were worried the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime.
That's right.
You were worried that the true culprit... I don't know why I can't talk all of a
She
sudden.
was worried that the true culprit would frame her for the crime. But see, that's because she didn't have the super handy stereoscope to prove in 3 dimensions that that was not the case.
Or something like that.
That's right.
3 dimensions? You disgust me.
That's right. But then I realized... it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case.
What do you mean?
Well, the crime scene appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have been no way. There would have been a way to see beyond the door.
Ah!
For which a peephole would be the very thing.
Only the peephole I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference.
Ah, but you see, but the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not?
A trap? Is that why she did it?
So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone, not even to the police.
I know. And I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong. A criminal offense, even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, yes, because he's been such a reliable keeper of secrets in the past.
If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape,
Then only perhaps a bailiff could assist.
the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan.
She really does think of everything. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began?
My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. You've got to think in curly-whirlies. If she had... yes, in curved lines, wibbly-wobblies, timey-wimeys, circles, serpentines, you know. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade.
Ah,
You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with a crime scene. So, Miss Susato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake, and Miss Lestrade's.
Miss Susato.
The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I had lost a little of my faith in the law.
Oh,
I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant.
what you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon is the one who lied at the witness stand, using that peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Miss Susato, what you did saved Gina's life.
I was thinking about that because I was thinking about like how they could have proven that she was innocent without that, and I'm not sure there would have been a way. I mean, Graydon wouldn't have been able to claim that he saw her do it, but then, you know, also she would have been in a locked room with the killed guy with a gun in her hand.
Yeah.
So like,
Not good.
No.
Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you've saved me too from my regrets.
And I suppose you've also saved this book from being drowned in the sea.
You're ruining the sad moments again.
Oh no! I'm sorry. Well, I'm famished, so... Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured.
Yes, exactly.
And so why don't we go and thank ourselves further at the local restaurant? At the nearest
Although
fish and chip
some of
shop.
the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure.
But the revelation of the music box contained secret message... Yep, I'm doing a really good job today.
Doing okay. Don't be so hard. Don't be so hard on yourself.
But the revelation that the music box contains secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo. What a triumph to work that out. I'm full of admiration.
Well, actually, that argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was.
Oh? It wasn't?
There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see. A telegraph operator.
and she said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones.
As one would expect, after all. As one would expect. After all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood should they have been intercepted.
In cipher? I see. So then we could never have hoped to understand the message anyway.
Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you.
What?
As in, I won't need to smoke any pipes to figure that out.
Oh. A.
Asogi.
Asogi.
Asogi? What?
What? What?
Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny.
Wait! Iris! What did you just say?
Oh, I just said asogi. Does that word mean something to you?
Means something? Asogi was the name of my best friend.
What? But how? How do you know that name, Iris?
I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box.
She transcribed it on the fly.
Oh, wow.
She really is a genius.
Wait, so when the communications officer was saying it's gibberish, it's because it's spelled out Asogi. It's like, oh, that's not a real word, so it's
Yeah.
obviously gibberish. Oh, jeez.
What? What is happening?
I thought the message... I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. But whatever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make sense. That is, in English, at least.
Oh,
It suddenly occurred to me, you see, there's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the around the world have altered and added to Morse code to use it in their own languages.
That's why she thought it was. Apparently, she's a huge enthusiast of Morse code, but only the British Morse code.
yeah.
I don't believe it. Are you saying?
That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before. But I think it's based on the Iroha pangram, isn't it?
Sorry if I butchered that
And you
pronunciation.
mean to say that in Japanese Morse code, the message says asogi?
Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all of the Japanese Morse code.
Iris, would you let me see that?
Miss Susato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code?
Yes,
Of course I do. I know everything, Mr. Naruhodo.
yes, I spent some time studying it. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications.
Yes, but actually no.
Then might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version?
Well, that's a bit racist, isn't it?
Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message, please.
Of course.
But what can this possibly mean?
But what can it mean? Whatever it is in that long sequence of supposedly meaningless dots and dashes. It's made the color drain from Susato-san's face, and there wasn't much there to begin with.
Oh,
Yes, mean. It's like, I don't tan very easily, Mr. Naruhodo.
there's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code.
So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications?
I suspect more that they've been conspiring something with the Japanese.
I don't understand the reason why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names.
4 names?
The first is Kei Asogi.
Kazuma Sogi? Why? Is this like a hit list?
It sounds like
Why?
it.
Why was his name on that disc?
The second is Shin.
Shin? I don't recognize that name.
The third is T. Gurigusen.
Tobias Gregson.
Oh, yeah.
Greguson.
Yeah. Guregusen.
Oh,
Yep.
Guregusen.
Yep.
I hate saying that.
Well, it's not. I don't know. It makes sense.
Gregson?
Ah, it would seem Tobias Gregson is the third man on that list.
And what's his name doing in a secret government communication as well?
It's the last one, Hosanaga.
Or Van Zieks, perhaps.
And the last name, Naruhodo.
What's the matter, Miss
It
Susato?
is, isn't it? It's Naruhodo, I bet.
Or it's her. It's just so strange. So unexpected.
Oh, what is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense.
But what is? No.
The last name is.
Oh.
It is a hit list.
Oh dear. The last name is J. Wilson.
What?
Oh my.
What?
Wilson.
John
Wilson!
H. Wilson? You mean Daddy?
It says only J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure. Then, after the four names, it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all four. And that's the end of the message. Or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris.
I just can't believe it. Who would ever have thought?
See, it's interesting with the Kazuma thing, because obviously Kazuma died. Ooh. Well, I was going to say he died entirely by accident.
Was it, though?
Yeah, I suppose that does make it that does bring that as a question, doesn't it? Interesting.
That those discs contained Japanese Morse code. Not to mention a strange list of Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names.
It would appear that this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan. Yeah.
Ah! Oh! Aye! Eee!
Iris. No.
This is hurting me so bad.
Yeah.
Daddy could be in Japan then, where Susie and Runo are from.
Maybe they've even met him before. Wouldn't that be such a funny coincidence? If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go jump into the ocean now.
Excuse me, Iris. I must go throw myself in with this book of law.
I must ensure it sinks to the bottom, you see.
Well.
No, it's not very likely, really, is it?
Nope.
I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them.
Yeah, that must be it. Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. But we can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. This is so strange. Somehow, in solving the case of Mr. Winterbank's murder today, I feel like I've rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave. Setting up a sequel of some kind, perhaps.
I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we Shouldn't go wandering inside.
No sequel after all, then.
Honk. Honk. Meh. Meh. Goose.
Oh dear, the ship is going to set sail soon.
Yes, it seems so.
I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. Then I shall change onto a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan.
Or you could stay.
You're really going then, Susie?
We wish you a safe passage, Miss Susato.
Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best.
Mr. Zato! I had hoped to have you always at my side. To guide me and support me.
Mr. Naruhodo!
Please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world.
Oh, sad. That's so funny.
I'm quite sure I'll be back before you know it.
Really, Susie?
Oh, now don't forget this, Iris. I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill.
A promise?
About your manuscript.
Ah,
Oh yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Are we gonna get an explanation as to why Sholmes hit it?
Probably not.
well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise.
Definitely, Iris.
Oh, that. There was no reason. I just forgot I put it in pawn.
Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes?
do you remember the first time we met?
Yes, of course. On the SS Burya when I was on the SS Burya when I was dragged out from that wardrobe, still half
And
asleep.
then you proceeded to tackle me several times.
If I remember
There we
rightly,
go.
you threw me halfway across the cabin with a Susato takedown.
You know very well that what I'm... You know very well that I'm talking about after that. It's strange. But being thrown together as we were in that case,
Emphasis on throne.
I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy.
Miss Susato?
If you carry on, I might have to show emotion.
That my instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that I'll be back soon. Farewell. Until then.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Hmm.
Cutscene.
Cutscene. Must concentrate.
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, or the first volume at least.
It's weird, Naruhodo reading his own.
Yeah.
Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey. Oh, there's Wagahai.
Yeah.
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective.
Nope, can't hear you.
I'm sure there will be trials and tribulations ahead. Of course there will.
And then we'll give justice for all.
But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
Oh, there he is.
After all,
We're spoiling it.
I have the greatest friends in the world at my side. Oh my god, I was thinking the same thing.
We need that. We need that to play.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh. Oh.
Ah, yes. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, Mr. Sholmes?
I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the Special Express train,
Oh, dear.
apparently.
Huh?
It caused such a commotion on the line that all the other trains had to wait at stations.
But really, we would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault.
Oh, cheers, mate. Throw me under the train, why don't you?
I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow.
Oh, for God's sake.
But not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Miss Susato,
You love defending yourself in court. It's all right. I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See?
Bring the boat back. I need to go home. Mr. Sholmes.
oh, we're going to get the word.
He just jumps in the ocean. Mrs. Arto, I'm coming with you!
No. I think we're going to. It's the tradition. We're going to get the word.
Oh?
Yes.
A word, if you don't mind.
Oh?
Why, certainly. Any word you like. Bellow it out, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. I love Runo's words, and I know just the one he'll use here.
Then I really must say, objection!
Oh,
Oh! Oh.
hello?
Hello?
Yes, it's me. Swing.
Oh. Dancey, dancey. Oh my God,
Yeah.
we've done it!
Oh!
We finally beat it.
We have reached the end!
Oh my goodness, everybody.
Oh.
In the following weeks, hundreds of music boxes arrived at Baker Street from all over Europe. Something was afoot, though it transpired I had ordered them all myself. So I advertised them for sale with used by Mr. Sholmes to solve an important case. And the money I've earned, consulting detective words, pays pittance in comparison. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna say that quick.
Yes, I'm gonna say it's not me, I'm afraid.
I haven't slept a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow now. When I'm this busy, Hurley usually cooks me breakfast. Well, cooks is an overstatement for some dry toast and insipid coffee. I do miss Susie and her lovely Japanese breakfasts.
I feel bad for Iris,
I know.
especially finding out. Well, not quite. Oh, there he is.
Witness, your testimony is riddled with contradictions.
Exactly. Rarely do vagabond coins hide under rare stakes themselves.
Well, I don't know, sir. Knows his father is an innocent man. Or are you calling my son a liar?
Oh, that's right. Witnesses, my courtroom is no place for your petty arguments.
I can't remember.
That's right. Pete was ouchie and I was
I
the
was gonna
judge.
say,
That was
yeah,
what
I'm
was
trying
different.
to think, like,
oh, were
ouchie.
you? Oh.
Yes, because it was
Oh,
kind of like...
Hosonaga.
Oh,
Having delivered the Russian dancer to shore in Shanghai, I stayed low.
Later on
Stayed
the
low on a
steamship
steamship.
for a while.
But last night I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board. I have done nothing wrong. All I did was give Wagahai's offspring refuge in my pocket. A man brings kittens on board, and suddenly he's a hardened criminal. It's not fair.
Oh, so Wagahai's not. He's a girl then, I guess. Unless he's a proud father.
Maybe.
Sometimes we
It's
don't
hard to know. Oh, honestly.
It embarrassed me.
Oh, yes. Scientific investigation will be the gold standard for policing in the new age. I dream of a world governed by the tenets of order and discipline, like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have but 2 minutes and 37 seconds until my next appointment.
a clock whose gears aren't even connected, like at the top right.
How do they work?
How do they do it?
No, they're gears, not
Oh,
magnets.
there he is.
The latest Rants magazine is out, and I'm in it again. Whenever I say that one line she wrote now, I get a standing ovation. Want to hear it? Huh. Not bad, I suppose, for an amateur.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Oh, I do love me some tea.
Her ladyship puts me to shame.
Farewell, Scottish Gregson. Farewell.
Will
Well,
be missed.
unless he comes back in the sequel.
That's if he doesn't die.
Been visiting the old girl on a daily basis, of course. Joni, my old jailbird. Must say, battling with those ballet stairs every day has done wonders for the something peg.
Dicky Peg.
Managing rather well with the housework
Dicky-
too has got this maid business taped up with, or something. Hope the gossiping neighbours don't realise the man of the house is his own maid.
I'm going to assume-
the man of the house isn't his own maid. Oh my! Is he dressing up as the maid?
Oh my
For
god!
goodness sake! Oh.
Oh!
My Patricia is back on the beat. Oh,
Thanks to the Reaper.
There's nothing I enjoy more these days than hunting out small change in the gutter. I'm a better Bobby now, looking out for Londoners that drop their pennies to my lovely wife. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly!
it's really hard to do that.
Oh my
When
stomach.
it's quick,
Like,
yeah.
because it's not leaving it on the screen long.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, people
Oi, 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 oi.
read in their head quickly. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm going to be doing time for a bit now. But Iris comes every now and every day for a natter, so it ain't too boring. She's always going on about all them cases what Sholmes is looking into. Criminal investigations are kind of interesting when you get into them.
Well, because, yeah, and I wonder if that's going to set her up with joining the police force, perhaps.
Oh, maybe.
Because,
Or maybe she'll help Sholmes
well,
investigate.
Lestrade's a police officer who sort of helps Sholmes in the
Yes.
original.
Yeah, there is
right,
that.
right.
No.
Oh,
Yes, I renounced my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets? Please.
Give over, bruv. That ain't the Ash we used to know.
We got Charming here's plan to come back and milk it and skulk his milk run, right?
The
Three Musketeers.
What's it?
Milking the neighborhood for all it's worth.
As horrible as it is, I think we did actually say that in sync.
Yeah. I think we kind
At
of
least
managed
close enough.
Even across
somehow.
the Atlantic
Somehow managed.
or Pacific.
I mean, I like that they made up, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Susato.
This past 6 months has been a time I shall remember forevermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is all about. Naruhodo-san, I promise your assistant will return to you one day. But for now, I leave you with many memories and a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well.
Oh, is this after she knocked him out, I guess?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably, I guess.
I cherish you, Mr. Naruhodo. Poof.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, no.
I do
The
this out of
Daruma.
love.
The angry
No.
face. Oh,
No.
no, thank
Oh.
goodness.
Ah.
I like how it was zooming in on the mouth. Aw.
Look at that suave git. He's right. Hello.
And Iris is just like, oh no!
Waggy. Oh.
I like this. I like that they managed to get the little her little toys in the shop.
Yeah.
Her little charms.
Well, that's it. We did it.
We frickin' did it, guys! Oh,
Oh,
or did we? I suppose this will be the extended credits, right?
maybe.
Well, Kazuma,
Yes.
ever shall I walk in your footsteps down memory lane.
Japanese laws, what they're
It's
doing.
very disconcerting you walking exactly in my.
Oh,
What's the-
I see. It's like, okay, you're going through all the court cases.
Oh,
timeline.
yeah. Do you think? Just a theory. You
A
think
game
Host-
theory.
No. Do you think Hosanaga is a hitman?
No, I think it's the Swan Lady who's the hitman.
Giselle.
The Hitman. she
it's
just
not-
like
it's just-
she just turns around and like pulls off her face like a mask, and it's him, 47.
Good evening, 47.
Well done, Agent 47.
Oh, well done, Agent 47.
I was only thinking because it's like he obviously was there when Wilson was murdered. He was there when Kazuma died, and it's like,
Oh, that is true. Hello.
and well, I mean, he's on the ship, but
See, I'm struggling to try and do Hosanaga's voice. It's been so long. I just keep doing the judge.
he kind of was a bit like,
Yes, they do sound.
he was a bit raspy.
They do kind of sound quite similar. Although I believe that the judge is more a bit like this, whereas Hosanaga is a bit more like this.
And then he stops walking.
Yes,
Goodbye, Kazuma.
but you will not be forgotten, my friend. And then the lady whose name Pavlina.
Nikolina Pavlova.
Nikolina, that's it.
That's right. I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have never known.
Don't know where it goes.
So I'm gonna be honest, guys.
But I'm still alive,
Yeah.
and I walk alone.
I'm gonna be honest,
But not
guys.
anymore.
I feel like this game took quite a long time for me to get into,
Yeah, same.
but
I wasn't sure at first.
It was more of a slow burn than some of the previous Ace Attorneys.
Yeah.
But I mean, once it got going, it had gripped me.
Yeah.
But it took a little while to ramp up, I think.
yes, I agree. I feel like, the first couple of cases, I almost kind of completely forgot about them because it was all, it pretty much, I guess because the I open arms. I guess. I guess because like the whole thing with McGuilded has been kind of so integral for like
Yeah.
this last case that it's kind of I almost remember it as being the first one rather than the third.
How's it
Good
going?
morning to you.
I might be in hell, but I suppose I can still stop by for a bit of a cameo.
See that? Yeah,
I've got that kind of power, you know.
yeah, like I say, like the same for me. Like I felt like it was
Oh, he's got Hide the Pain Harold.
what?
His face, it's like the freaking guy.
Oh,
I'm
was
sorry.
it? I missed
it's, it's just like, it was sort of a grimace smile. It kind of looked a bit like the guy.
Oh,
Sorry.
I missed it.
Sorry, I'm sorry for interrupting. It's just
No,
it was
it's
going off
okay.
the screen.
No, I was just gonna say like it's a similar thing for me. Like I wasn't sure if I was enjoying it, and I'm like I kind of felt bad because like I was like when it was announced that this was like it'd been translated, it was coming over here, and it's like oh my god, like, and I was so happy, and then I felt sad because I couldn't get into it
To
But then
start with.
to start with, yeah, but sort of like looking back and thinking about it, I'm kind of wondering if with all like sort of Ryunosuke struggling, and like I felt like the cases like seem to be taking a long time to get through, but it's sort of like looking back at it, I'm like, is it just reflective of the time period? Because like Britain in the 1900s was like kind of brutal anyway, and
Hi, Ringo, we're on the screen.
we're on the telly. So maybe it was kind of, I don't know if it was intended this way, but like I kind of felt like it was a reflection of sort of the Victorian era, and if you weren't British, you were, an outcast. If you were a sort of woman in that era, you weren't treated like as highly as a man in that sort of time period. And like I'm thinking, maybe that's what it is, and then they've kind of overcome the struggles and sort of social norms of society in that kind of time period. It's like maybe that's how a good way to look at it.
Sorry, I just want to interrupt briefly because it said that for research assistance they contacted the Rocco International Music Box Museum, which I didn't even know was a
No,
thing.
neither did I.
But yeah, no, I think that's an interesting point. I think that's probably part of it. I think also each case being significantly longer lent more emotional weight to the highs and lows of
Yes.
it. I think one of the things with the earlier Ace Attorney games is that they kind of cycle through the cases and the cast so quickly that you don't necessarily get as attached to each one. Like there are the central characters, but like if you think about like the ones with the Big Berry Circus lasted forever, so I'm not going to use that one as an example.
Yeah.
But like, just in general, I feel like one of the things that this game did do well is that while you have the trade-off of there's not as many characters, the cast isn't as large, I do feel like the longer
emotionally
cases,
invested
like
in
Sarah said, like Sarah said, I think they kind of did justice to the historical time period.
Yes.
And then also just helped you. Because, like, the thing with Gina at the end there, like, that was, I genuinely got choked up at that. And I didn't really get that choked up in the previous Ace
And
Attorney.
because if we hadn't have spent that much time with Gina and sort of like learning about her personality and whatnot as it went on, then like we wouldn't necessarily have made that sort of connection. So
Yeah, and
emotional attachment.
I was like really like bad anxieties, like doing Susato and everything. And I was kind of like, oh god, I hate this voice, and kind of felt like wanted to give her like a softer voice, but kind of had it in my head that like maybe it sounded like a bit racist if it sounded like I was trying to sort of mimic a Japanese sort of accent and stuff, and sort of getting worried. And like was really bad about it. I'm like, wanted to change it and everything, but like I grew to like Susato as well, and I kind of accepted the voice and everything. And when she sort of went out of it for that brief period of time, it's like I miss Susato. Like I really miss. And then like seeing her at the end there, it's like, oh, Susato, don't go.
As the saying goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It does, and as Taylor said, sort of, there is. I think that is it. You have got the emotional attachment to the characters because there's not as many. And some of the side characters were quite fun as well, like Ringo and Nash are like my favourite for sure. And Mr. and Mrs. Garrett.
I was going to say, we can't forget Mr. and Mrs. Garrett.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
I feel like, sorry, no, the only thing that I feel like I liked Edgeworth and Phoenix's rivalry a little bit better than Van Zieks' and Naruhodo's.
Van Zieks is just like a racist bigot, though, isn't he? So,
a little bit,
which sort of doesn't help. Like, he's a cool character and whatnot, but kind of every time he opens his mouth, I feel like I just want to punch him. Although it did allow me to chew
I think
the scenery.
Edgeworth with the no, and I think I enjoyed your performance. I just think in terms of and it wasn't reflective of your performance. I think it's just the interplay between Phoenix and Edgeworth I thought was a little bit more I felt like it was more of a genuine rivalry than it was like a because this felt like less like a rivalry and more just like contempt.
Yes. I agree.
I mean, I suppose it well, it kind of hinted maybe it is, and it's again, it's kind of more of a bit on a I hate the Japanese sort of like attitude. But like, just because he's that, it's like, no, I hate you.
Yeah, I mean, I know they did that little scene at the end there to just try and redeem him for all of his misgivings. But the thing about the other Phoenix Wrights, the other Ace Attorney games and whatnot, is I feel that like it was quite interesting how Nick and Edgeworth's sort of rivalry turned into like a bond, like it turned into a friendship.
They remembered a friendship.
A particularly powerful friendship as well. And I think that kind of, over the course of the games, made it a much more interesting relationship. Whereas you say, like, Van Zieks does just seem to just be grumpy for the sake of it, almost.
Maybe Van Zieks will change.
Yes, maybe the second game will sort of, shine a bit more light on him or something, and redeem him a bit. But like at the minute, he does just seem to be quite unlikable.
He's a grumpy.
Yeah, it does kind of set it up because it's like, again, it's sort of grumpy throughout the entire game, passive, whatever. Like there's no sign of any kind of respect. And then it's like at the very end, okay, I respect you, which, I feel like in the earlier Ace Attorney games, you had the moment where, Edgeworth was dismissive, but you kind of see more signs of that rivalry, of that friendship along the way. Yeah. And then there's the case with, I think it was also Iris, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Dahlia.
Sister Iris in bikini. Yeah, Dahlia.
Dahlia, yeah.
Like the last one where Nick, after plunging off the flaming bridge, Edgeworth like books a flight back and takes the case for him.
Yeah.
And then you sort of start to see it's like, oh, okay, this is the genuine bond and everything else. But speaking of sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you can see him soften like butter.
Yes.
The relationship begins to
but speaking of absence making the heart grow fonder, we're going to have to take off until next week when we will start the next chapter of the Great Ace Attorney
Well,
Chronicles.
we've got some little things to do first, but
Oh, yes.
but we will be back with some of the little adventures, and then we're going to be diving headfirst into the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. But until then, if you enjoy our silly banter, you know what to do. You hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and drop a comment down below. What did you think? Did you enjoy the game? Did you enjoy what we did? Did
Do you
not
like
enjoy
any characters in particular?
I mean, do you have any favourites? I'm going to say Scottish Yard and Scottish Gregson are a favourite of mine. And with that, we'll see you next time, guys. Catch you in the next one.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
And remember, in the end, friendships are part of what make life worth living, so make sure you appreciate and cherish yours.
No.